In its 50th year, the Jesuit Food Drive supported 370 families. This only happens because of the Jesuit community, especially its students.
Merry Christmas. I love the food drive.
We love the food drive!
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It truly is.
It's my favorite thing in the world. It's my actual favorite thing. It's so fun. I love it. I love it.
The Jesuit Food Drive is an act of service and love put on by the school in the month of December. It supports hundreds of families in the Portland area with the thousands of pounds of food collected. Now as its 50th year, the food drive continues to be a success and prove the strength of the Jesuit community.
So I'm Greg Moore, Mr. Moore, and I started here at Jesuit in 1992. So it was quite a while ago, and I worked here for 13 years as the Director of Christian Service, so what Mr. Powers does now. I was in charge of everything with Christian Service, so that also meant I was in charge of everything with the food drive. So I had people who worked with me, but for those 13 years I was ultimately responsible to make sure it happened.
I'd say student government plays a pretty integral role in the food drive because we basically have a class period where we can work on things without kind of like sacrificing time outside of school. So we have a whole like third period class where we can kind of like work on stuff for the food drive, get things planned and prepared to execute.
I am Kathy Bartz, and I am Director of Alumni Relations. So I help our Alumni Food Drive Committee, just overseeing from the Jesuit end, making sure that all of the logistics are set up. And then I work with all of our partner agencies that are helping us with our family information and contact information, and then setting up all of the logistics for the drop-offs and the box setup and deliveries.
So the Thursday of the food drive week, those first 3 or 4 classes where most of the school's in class, but about 100 students have golden tickets, something like that. And that's just the best because there's Christmas music playing, you're going around and you're filling the boxes. Obviously the sorting's already been done, but when you're just filling the boxes and everyone's kind of coming together, everyone's cheery and Christmassy. Last year there were a couple of different news people there covering it, and it just felt really cool, and it felt cool to be something that a part of something that was kind of bigger than any individual. All of the cans came from I think it was a couple of years before we were here even. There was a song and it was, yes, It's Coming Home by Diddy and Skylar Grey. Anyway, that song has kind of become a little bit of folklore, kind of legend, in Jesuit. So we play it every year at the food drive assembly, and it's kind of a big deal. So then this year they were trying to leave something behind. You kind of see how it lasts through time, because I'm Canvassing has lasted years and years, but we'll see how all of the cans does. Hopefully it's received well over the years.
Yeah.
I think yeah. Part of it for me is just the seniors that were in the class last year and helped so much with the food drive last year. I think that more than me handing the torch down, it's me kind of us seniors. We're kind of carrying the torch, the freshmen, they don't know really what the food drive's about. And so obviously that's where the assembly comes in and all the advertising, but I think that those things are really important to be led by seniors who know the joy and the experience that the food drive can really give you. So when you kind of know that, when you've experienced it a couple of times now, you can really start to kind of lead and teach other people what it's like.
I agree. I think it's just kind of it's not more passing on the torch, it's just doing things how we always do them. So they're not gonna know that we make huge stacks of Campbell's soup and all this stuff, and it's kind of a fun competition of stacking the cans. It's a fun thing that they don't know about. So just kind of us doing it and having fun, how the way that we always do it kind of shows them yeah, that's how we do food drive. It's a fun thing.
Yeah. I just think the biggest thing is making sure that juniors and seniors realize how important it is, and kind of take that to heart. Because what I was saying is the juniors and the seniors are the ones that lead it, because it's not fun or exciting to do something when a teacher or a staff person tells you to do it.
That's true.
But when there are juniors and seniors that are yes, canvassing is important, it's something we all need to do, going out and getting food or bringing money or whatever your part is, the fact that it is important, I think the fact that juniors and seniors portray that to the underclassmen and to everyone else is why the food drive's been so wildly successful.
When coming home for the holidays, many Jesuit graduates return to continue that service and love through the Alumni Food Drive, which began in 1985 and has been wildly successful in its 33 years.
I would say volunteer-wise overall, there's about 400 volunteers. And with that being said, we have some community groups, so the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, some alums who have service opportunities within their companies come and help, and then alums and their families, because it's really a family affair. The kids can help pack as well. So it's a good way to introduce, giving back at a young age where they can be able to do something like pack a box or put cans in and take them to the families. They remember the memories and good times that they had with the student food drive. And I think also as alums, it's really been ingrained to be of service and men and women for others. And this is a great opportunity to come back to the school that they love, and then also to be helping those that really need our help during the holidays and throughout the year. The Alumni Food Drive is all fundraised money, so our fundraising team, as well as those that are helping via grants and all of the charitable foundations, each year the food drive is about between 80 and 100,000 to get the food that we need, as well as helping with grants to neighboring organizations that will in turn buy food for those people that they serve in their communities.
This is just such a tradition at this school. It becomes such a part of what we do, and it's kind of amazing, I think, that we have been doing it for so long, and yet it still is something that enlivens the whole school. Everybody gets behind in a way that is inspiring. I think it's a success because it is a marking of something that who we are in a bigger way. What I mean by that is we don't just do a Christmas food drive. We get behind the Christmas food drive and it's a huge thing, but it's not the only thing we do. So it's kind of like a marking of how we are connected, and a big event where we help people out in the community, but we don't just stop there, and it's not like it's a one-time thing. And I think that's why it's so important. Whether it is the Christian service that kids do on a regular basis, whether it is the First Fridays that students go out and groups do, whether it's just responding to emergencies or events or people in their lives who are in need or helping, the school itself is incredibly generous. And I think the food drive is a marker of that rather than, I think it is a result of the generosity of the school and not why the school is generous.